Welcome in, everybody, to the Best Reviews channel. We have James from the Watch Your Mouth Reviews channel. Hello, James.
Hello.
You
comment,
guys,
subscribe.
Thank you. Subscribe to James's channel as well. After this live, we will be covering Salt Lake City Housewives. The link to his channel is in the description of the video, or you can choose a playlist. All the shows I recap with him individually, all of them. Click it, it'll take you right to his channel. We're here to do Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, though. Again, as a Californian, and James, who is originally from California, our hearts really do go out to all of the people suffering from these wildfires. I know you guys are used to seeing just a couple of years ago is the Bay Area on fire. There, it's LA. It's kind of, it's sad, but
it's definitely sad, and our hearts go out to anybody who is experiencing this or have family members, friends who are experiencing either their home burning down or in an area where the pollution is not well due to the smoke and everything in the area. We just hope everyone is safe in there. And, I did reach out to a couple of my subscribers who are in the area or maybe from the area to make sure you guys were okay. If I didn't get to everybody, I do apologize, but, I'm just, we are human, and we, have families as well that are in the area. So just want to make sure everyone is safe.
Will do, you guys. Also, check out local links on news stations for how you can donate for those who are interested. Now, for this episode, I'm sick of these bitches, y'all. I am. They get on the last nerve that I had.
You will wait the 5 minutes for the monetization.
No, they're on my nerves. We meet Bo. We see Bose. I'll be good. We see Bose and her boyfriend Keely, and it's nice to see her dating and see some more of her. I was stressed out because every time the wind blew when they were on that beach, that wig line is terrible. For someone with so much money, she's got like the wigs of
I don't know if it's plastic. I don't know. Her lace is not.
I don't even know what's going on.
Yeah, it's like it's so much. It's like, girl, I'm like, yeah.
But that man has to love her, because
I couldn't look at that every day.
No, I couldn't either.
I'm like, if you don't go get some like natural hairstyle, like some braids or some dreads or something, like if it was something like that, then fine.
Yeah.
But all of this hair,
it was just the hair on Bose sometimes takes away, I think, from her beauty. Like, I get that you like big hair, like in the visual that you guys see now on your screen, she had bigger hair, but it was more tamed. Like, I'm okay with that, but she shouldn't go bigger than that.
No, honestly, I want her to do a shortcut, because her bone structure, especially in that picture, is stunning. And I feel like the hair takes that away from her. Like her bone, like in her jawbone and her cheeks, she has a stunning bone structure in her face. She needs a short hairdo, like a nice Fantasia.
Beautiful woman.
Yes.
I'm sorry to all of my beautiful Black women out there. I think this is why, especially for chocolate complexioned women like myself or Bose, sometimes short bob if you go keep it straight, or wear your natural would be beautiful on her, because we really see her face then. So, but we go keep it moving. We meet her boyfriend. His name is Keely. She tries to lie and say that she has a long distance relationship. She does not. They are about a 2-hour drive away from each other.
Yeah.
And a 20-minute flight. She says a lot. The wind was the villain. Not the wind is against her. The wind was the villain.
It was against her. I was like, ooh, that wave blow off right now.
God was trying to send her a message. She was not listening. But, maybe it'll take her 3.5 hours to get to that man with some traffic. But she's the type who I'm sure could fly or things like that, which is actually very common. A lot of people who live in LA that have money, celebrities, they get around through helicopters. They get around through they use flights, private jets, things like that, because the traffic really is that bad.
There's a shuttle private airline I'm pretty sure she's a part of in LA.
Yes.
That's that Van Nuys that she can actually, it's actually, I don't even think it's like 25% of the price of a private charter. So yes, she can I think she does fly to get to him. I do. And I think he does the same for her because he has money as well. So
Yeah. But she tried to,
right,
don't call it long distance if y'all are literally
yeah.
like, if there was no traffic, they could get to each other even sooner. I'm just saying.
Right. I was
But
like, well, I could see if he was in Florida and you in California, you're on
right.
opposite sides of the country, then yes, that's gonna be a problem.
Sure. Nia agrees said first season girls usually start out rough and improve as they go by.
No, she
Yeah,
been
that
doing
is true.
this. She been doing this. This ain't first season mayhem. She been doing this for years. Like I looked at old pictures of her. I actually on my channel when I announced that she was coming on as a housewife. We went and found an old picture of her, and it was a whole bunch of waterfall curls, but it was like all out here and like smothering her face.
Terrible. She's got to figure it
Yeah.
out with these wigs.
Mhm.
But these people discussed what they want out of a relationship, even though they're already in a relationship. But shout out to the Black Love. I'm here for it.
Yes.
I hope it goes well for you both. That's all I'll say. Now, Erica and Doris, because she on my nerves now.
She back to
First, I
Doris
was
now.
like, keep your first I was here for Dorit. I was like, yes, keep your foot on everybody's neck. But now it's getting to a point where I'm like, okay, you can't just holler and use your what you're going through as a reason to just be going off on people and expecting grace to a certain extent. Now, I'm also annoyed with her ordering that Belvedere and however all the things she puts, like, girl, order something else. But Dorit mentions that she is going to have an upcoming therapy session with her and herself and PK, family therapy as well. And she says she's nervous about it because they have not been on speaking terms. He will not speak to her and he's living his best life. Can't blame him. And they then move on to discuss the previous explosive encounter that happened on Kathy's trip, I believe it was, with Dorit and Sutton. And this is where Dorit says that people take her kindness for weakness. I'm calling BS because though I like how Dorit is less focused on brands and trying to be fake and is more so just giving it to them, reading people, engaging, I'm going to call BS because ain't nobody took your kindness for weakness. You were obnoxious and up Kyle's ass season after season after season. You were classist and pretentious, inconsiderate. You threw microaggressions at the Black community as well as other minorities. And now you're acting like people took your kindness for weakness. But I do find it interesting, microaggressions, we're going to come back to that you would never dare come for Bose or Garcelle the way that you came for Sutton. You wouldn't dare come for Erica that way because Erica disrespected you. And yeah, but Erica, baby, you've got to understand. But with Sutton, you hollering and keeping a vicious energy because you know Sutton's not going to holler back after you watched her. So I personally feel like Dorit, yes, some of these ladies have you effed up, but at the same time, ain't nobody took your kindness for weakness because you haven't been kind and you haven't shut the hell up.
Thank you.
That's
You
how I
are the
felt.
very first person of YouTube person now that has pointed that out.
We're not
Everybody
going to
else,
forget who she is just because she want to get
right?
separated and then suddenly attack Kyle, who nobody likes right now. I'm not going to forget who
Everybody
you are.
else on YouTube, like people like I would say maybe 80% of the people that I watch are jumping down Sutton's throat right now because everyone forgets what you just pointed out. That's crazy
Well,
to me.
I feel like it'll come up at the reunion and people are either
Hmm.
going to have their, I didn't think of that moment, or
Hmm.
they gonna double down and blame Bravo and still be mad.
Yep.
But Dorit is not as kind as she says, and she's definitely not and has never been weak. She's somebody whose life is now at risk of changing because she
Yep.
left the money.
Yep.
And she's lucky enough to have this job and check for money, which she still got from him because she came on as the wife of Lisa Vanderpump's good friend. And I will never let her forget it. So that's how I felt about Doris. But Erica Jane brings up the fact that Sutton kicks people when they are at the lowest points of their lives. That pissed me off too, because Erica, shut up and pay those victims. Also, Erica, you're being sued by the designers who were a part of the Housewife and the Hustler documentary, who you had in jail lost his career, all types of stuff, lost out on a baby they wanted to adopt. You are being sued because you were found to be liable for that. So, Erica, I don't want to hear you say anything. You cannot judge anyone else's moral
I
compass
thought
when
that was
yours
so
itself
rich
is
coming
skewed.
from her, of all people.
Be
That was
quiet,
very
Erica.
rich of her coming from you, ma'am. Excuse me, but that lady was well within her rights to
Mm-hmm.
do her research, look up things of what was going on because you were mute the entire time and you were involved, and she has an association with you. I don't
Erica needs to
understand.
be glad nobody's bringing up the real reason that her last name is still Girardi.
Boom.
Because all of these ladies are failing on the cast to a certain extent. And then when Garcelle does it, people want to call her nosy and say she gives nothing. But Erica
Exactly.
herself could give something to talk about. So I feel no empathy for her. As for Sutton coming at people in the lowest parts of her lives, Sutton does not just come for people. She may do too much when people come for her. I'm not going to give her entire grace and hold her accountable. But she don't just come for people just out the blink of an eye, just for no reason. They come for
And
her first, usually.
yes, they come for her first, and then also they poke at her, and then when she gets riled up, then y'all want to say, "Oh, she's the angry, aggressive lady." Like I see what they're doing, and it's like, no, you're not gonna paint her to be this martyr, just weaponizing against women bows, which we'll get to because I'm gonna read your ass because I feel like that's very convenient for you. Read.
Nia Green, I agree with that too. Nia Green stated Dorit is here to humble Kyle and nothing more. She doesn't understand that all we want is for you to humble Kyle and leave it
And
there.
that's it. Yeah,
Because
and that's it.
Dorit has the rest of these ladies messed up
She do.
for
She
how
do.
she's treated them. She says she knows who to holler at. She's calculated in what she does. She definitely is. She's still in court. She is not married. The state of California is not granting her a divorce.
She's still married to that man, and she gonna be married to him until after all of these are settled.
Mm-hmm.
And if I was the judge, I would do the exact same thing. Because no, 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 no. You're not just gonna get out this marriage and think that this is all gonna be left to him when you were married to him at the time. It's not gonna happen that way, man. I'm sorry. It's not. You're gonna stay in this marriage. She has said something. There's a blog that she had responded to saying that it's her divorce proceedings are continuing. And I'm like,
Well, yes. When you are still in court and something has not been settled that is being dealt with in court, it is being continuing. It's a continuance. It's definitely continuing. I feel like some of the stuff you said about Erica in the past, she was married to a lawyer. James has said this several times for many years. I feel like she understands the terminologies and things that come with court. When a case is ongoing, when you go to court and you have to go home or something and it's still going, the recess till tomorrow. A continuance. Lawyers ask for it all the time to give more time to figure stuff out. Sometimes it happens if they have to say, oh, well, you can't just get granted a divorce. That's actually happened to one of my cousins who was on the bar association. He
hmm,
was shady. Art, rest in peace to that man, though. But he had that when he tried to divorce one of my cousins. So it's I don't trust Erica. She is
I don't
still in
either.
court. And she will be in court for a long time. And if not for the marriage, even after a divorce, she'll be in court for stuff still connected to that man. Because now it's being found, because they're taking their time, that she is responsible and did have knowledge of some of the things that she are being alleged.
Hmm.
So we'll see. But yeah, listen, Sutton was at a low point in her life when she came on the show. Sutton has had low points with her husband, her sons. Everyone's low points are different, but no one gave Sutton any empathy on this show just because of her income bracket.
Yep.
But
Very
y'all
true.
want her to give you empathy
Yeah.
after you treated her like hell, did not defend her, and turned your backs on her when questioning
No, and
Erica
then
about her
tried
rape
to
history.
allow no, and then also at one point y'all tried to allow Crystal to get with that whole racist narrative, feed into it, and then when everyone jumped on y'all about that, then y'all wanted to then jump over and attack Crystal. See, y'all women are wishy washy on this show, and that's what this season is giving. When the wind blow, y'all over here, and then when it go east, y'all go west. It's like I can't with y'all. I can't.
That's a good point to bring up, and a reason I think Bravo for all of their housewife franchises. Anybody who's been there since season one forced them to either be demoted at some point to a friend of, or make it to where their contracts actually are threatened and we don't end up with people like Robin Dixon, who the fans just don't want, give nothing, and stay for season after season. Like, there's a lot more they could do to make it better. But we did get to see Garcelle and her family go to her cute little beach house that she built. She's speaking about how this beach house is a big deal. You guys do not understand. It is a big deal. For one, her family immigrated here to the US. Two, she represents the Black people in America. She also represents the Haitian community. She's done a lot. And specifically in California, the real estate the real estate industry is racist as hell to a
Yeah.
certain extent. It's much harder for Black people here in California to get homes and to buy them. I watched my mother go through it, and she's a goddamn LMFT and clinical psychologist. There's no reason she should have had to go through that. But I've had, and we see this on the Bay Area news a lot, where when people are getting their homes appraised to sell them or they want to buy them, they'll send Caucasian people or people of other races and compare it. And we see these things in court and stuff. So it's very hard for African American people to own in California, especially here in the Bay Area and especially in Los Angeles, where it's competitive as hell. So great job. I do not want to negate or downplay what Garcelle has done, but you've already talked about this. I understand it's important to you and it's nice. Now you're bringing your kids here on camera. I love that. Good for you. But okay. She talks about her son's past addiction, the struggles, the tough love she practiced, how she allowed him to hit his bottom, which is actually what they suggest to people to do versus enabling them,
Yep.
and the guilt that she felt. But he's doing well now. He's a father. Right. She completed it all while on the show. She didn't pull a charade. Good for her. I'm so happy for her for that. But
First of all, we talk about two different people. First, we know Sheree couldn't afford to build that house. She was trying to keep up with Nene, and she finally did it years and years later. So it was like, yeah, that's Garcelle has way more than Real Housewives of Beverly Hills income, and plus they're paid more than all the other franchises. So I can see how she got this going and going and going. But I'm proud of her, and I also agree with you as far as the son thing. I needed something different from Garcelle. I needed because I feel like we constantly get this storyline from her. We had it with the other twin son. What was that, last season or the season before last? And now we have it's like Garcelle. I felt like you had something going with the whole Lifetime movie network directing thing. Maybe you should have leaned more into that versus this.
not Sheba shit.
Hmm?
Naya.
But she got it together now, y'all. She done built that house up. Everything is finished. She finally got rid of that old Porsche. Now she got her a G-Wagon. Sheree living the life.
I listen, for some reason I have most of my subscribers on the East Coast. I'm gonna come to y'all and we gonna drink wine and laugh because why did she have to say she by shit? Naya. Oh dear God. But yeah, I agree with you, Jane. I'm not moved by Garcelle as a housewife. I love Garcelle, even prior to
Mhm. Oh
Housewives,
yeah, she's
always
one of my
have.
favorites. Yeah.
But she doesn't give much. So maybe she'd do better as a friend of, because she liked to be in everybody's business, hang around and goof around with Sutton. She'd be a great friend of, in my opinion. But
I wouldn't be
it's
surprised. I was thinking this when I was watching the episode, looking at Jennifer Tilly. I wouldn't be surprised if they gave Jennifer Garcelle's spot and gave Garcelle Jennifer's spot.
hmm.
I would not be surprised. Now, will they
People
do it?
would be
No,
bored
because
by
the element.
Jennifer Tilly, though.
I feel
Like,
like
I'm sorry, she's talented, she's funny a little bit, but it gives Karen Huger. I'll laugh, I'll comment, and be a confessional gangster, but won't do much in person.
no, but what I'm saying is I know they won't do it because they have to keep the element of having Black women on this franchise because that was one of the biggest issues of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. When Garcelle first got there, that's why they tried it with the lady we won't mention this last season, and now we have both. Like they're going to try to keep the African American element here, at least two of them at all
There's
times.
only 6 housewives right now. We've seen
Mhm.
them put more up. I understand diversifying the cast. If you want to diversify the cast, get rid of Kyle and Dorit and replace them with 2 different ethnicities, races, culture, something. You know what I'm saying? Because those two are really useless. But she said, not the son who think he grown. One of
Oh,
Garcelle
he was
kids got
something
his ass
else.
whooped.
Yeah,
Ungrateful,
he was something
spoiled
else.
brat.
He's not on the show this season. He chose not to film with her,
Good.
but he was something else. I was like, Garcelle, girl. Now you don't give me the kind of mama that just allows this. Like,
I feel like he was taking advantage of something on camera, but it did very much give spoiled brat. Because why you mad at your mama for working and getting her
no,
life
it was
together, but
giving
not
your
your
daddy and
daddy?
your ear about your mama.
Right. You not mad at your daddy. He just does everything right. So I'm wondering, sometimes children of mixed race, and this is actually a fact, I've written papers on it in college. Sometimes children of mixed race, it's often they struggle with identity for which race, culture, all of that to acknowledge. And oftentimes it is common that some of them may end up like, what is that lady who's always pissing people off? Candace, is it Owens?
Candace Owens, yeah.
Yeah, they may end up like that. And if you actually listen to her story, instead of getting mad about the things that she says, she explains some of the things and the traumas experienced that probably caused her to feel the way that she feels. And I feel like Garcelle's son, the one that's not filming, demonstrates a little bit of that. And
Hmm.
I'm not surprised he's not filming. And honestly, I don't care. But yeah, Garcelle could be demoted. I don't. It's like, little boy, we don't care about. But I was cracking the hell up in the next scene when Dorit said to her mama, "Oh, mom, these peaches are so good. Oh, they're just delicious, mommy." She said, "Yeah, I got them from Costco." Dorit tried to make it look, she had them plated beautifully, like it could have been a charcuterie. She had the fruit sliced up beautifully. Her mama said, "I got this mess from Costco."
She said, "Who you think you fooling?"
Stop trying to act like that
Yeah,
man is
like,
grown.
girl, come on now. You know you didn't grow up like this. Come on. We went to Costco, we went to Walmart, we went to Target, we went to
Mm-hmm.
all of these stores like regular folk.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be trying to act bougie now. That's why I loved her mom in that moment because that mama brought it all the way back for Dree. You wasn't like this before you married this
Yeah.
man. So don't
Yeah.
act like this when I get into town.
Especially when I'm helping your ass.
Yeah,
Jesus.
exactly.
Uh, but Bose ends up coming by the house and she and Dorit go chat. And I was cracking up because Bose, while you checking everybody else, you threw shade at Dorit. You said Dorit likes to talk. I mean, every detail, and I like to listen. So you acknowledge she talked too much. And one would think you'd see the frustration in the women, but I'm going to let that
Right.
slide for now.
Exactly. Yes.
Now they step outside because Dorit still claim her kids do not know of the separation and divorce. Let me say this without being disrespectful, but I'm gonna probably offend some people, and I could give a flying fuck, but I'm gonna still say, listen, if your kids can't tell the difference in your relationship and not sense that something's going on from this man having a whole different apartment, that says a lot about PK as a father. How do they,
Absolutely.
like, what's going on here?
'Cause you don't think they notice dad is not in the house every day and that,
Right.
he don't come and see us, he don't share no more, we don't see no mommy and daddy hugging in the kitchen or you cook. I don't think Derek can cook, but, you don't think they notice things like that? Like, I think parents really take for granted kids being young and impressionable where they probably can't really handle it, and it's like, all you got to do, Dorit, is you and PK sit down and explain to the children, we are still a family, but we're going to operate a little bit
Or
differently.
use
That's
the
all you gotta say.
therapist that you're seeing to
Oh, yeah, the lady
explain
that come by
it.
the house, yeah.
Yeah, use the family therapist to explain it once you and PK decide what you want to do. But it's actually a good thing sometimes for kids to understand that because they're going to put it together anyway. They just don't have the proper motor skills and things always to express it, but they know what's going on. But
Like
it's,
Nia just said.
yep, yep. And this is where Dorit talks about that therapy session that she did with PK. Before we get into that, let me get the comment. Naya said kids are not dumb. They look up from the phone sometimes. Right. Right. Kids are not stupid. They just don't have the ability to communicate as intricately as we can as adults, and that's okay. What's good, a bitch stay winning? She said, I agree. She should discuss it with the children, but for one, it might be a storyline. And two, those are her kids and the way that her family is set up, we have no say. So that is true. That is very true.
Yeah,
People
which
will
is
do
why
what
this is,
they
we're
know
just
they
giving our
do.
opinions. Yeah,
They will do
absolutely.
what they do. But
Mhm.
the storyline part, I really have been
Yeah.
feeling that way slightly because I'm like, okay, It seemed like, from what she explained in this therapy session, it seemed like PK wants to be divorced. I, I mean, he ended up storming out, slamming the door, talking about this is why I want to divorce you. So whatever went on in their marriage, because Dorit and PK have been shallow and fake the whole time we've seen them. The most real they've gotten is this so-called separation. I doubt we'll ever know what really went on, but whatever went on, he is sick of her ass. And I be sick and tired to points where he'd rather be sober and away, clear headed, not having to hear her voice. So she feels like because PK stormed out of that session, that he is unpredictable. And she now feels like she needs to have a plan. Well, yeah.
I mean, duh.
Did you
I
not
mean,
have
like,
one
if you
before?
like, what did you think was about to happen? Like, this is why she gets on my nerves. This man has given you sign after sign after sign. He has said word after word after word. That man has not wanting to be with you for a few years now. So, and he has said it in subtle hints. He's trying not to be disrespectful and hurt your feelings. He's trying to consider, but that man has said he don't want to be bothered with you in many different ways. And then finally he reached the bubbling point. He said, forget it, I want a divorce. And the problem is that she's taking it in such shock as if she don't know. That's what I don't like about her. It's like, girl, get out of my face.
It's just showing she's still herself. This is Dorit is still the same Dorit we saw seasons ago. She just ain't got time for the extra BS and is finally speaking up and less about the labels. That's why we seen her go in the closet for vintage and things, because now she got to find a way to be down to earth. She said, I just don't know about a 4 hour therapy session. They
Well,
happen.
the lady come by the house, so of course they can do a 4 hour. That lady paid by the hour. I would spend 4 hours with them too.
You can do 4 hour therapy
Yeah,
sessions
yeah. Give me my
also
$200 an
outside.
hour. Absolutely.
You could do them outside of the house. There's actually a lot of therapists that are willing to do that. Once I'm a therapist,
Mhm.
I'm willing to do that. I'm gonna get my 289 minimum per hour.
Absolutely. Oh, is it 289 now?
Absolutely. It depends on the therapist, their specialty, where you went to school, and the state that you're practicing in, because the rates are different.
Oh, okay. Because I thought general marriage counsel was just 200 an hour. Okay, never mind.
No, there is no set fee, never has been for counseling. It's dependent on the provider or clinician, what they want to choose and the state's laws. So usually most people, depending on their experience, will pick something like right in the middle or where the market is at for that time
'Cause
frame.
I
But
looked at organization by just a statistic. I didn't know it was actual. Okay, I got you.
oh yeah, the
Yeah,
statistics for that also are all effed up.
I know, but at the same time, it's not. It's usually not that far.
No, they'd be far off. They do.
Really? Okay.
She said a 4 hour session. That's but I will also say professionally, I get it for family therapy, but if she just had Doris and PK arguing like that for 4 hours, that's not productive. You got to know when to give your clients a break, in my opinion. But hey, these Beverly Hills people that we be seeing on TV, the therapist and life coach, sometimes I feel like you're really just paid well because of where you live or something, because they don't always be best, if that makes sense. She said Dorit and Kyle act like these men did not tell us on and off camera they are done. Preach. They did. She said exactly. She should have had a plan. I'm like, you sit up here so worried about the children, but you ain't got no plan for the children.
I mean,
What?
what she thought. She didn't think PK was gonna leave her. She didn't think that. I honestly think she thought he was going.
She's
You know,
so
she
sick
probably
of
thinks like the
herself.
rest of us that look wise, he probably ain't gonna get nobody else. But girl, you a fool if you think that one. But you
Yeah,
know,
she don't get it. She don't get it. As always, she puts sugar on shit, so you never know the whole story with Dorit. That's true.
I know I
She
want to hear
said,
PK's
cool.
side of the story.
I just don't want to talk to nobody that long. My energy becomes depleted and I have to retreat. That's why I say the professional should have known. There's no reason you should have people going that long to where he got to storm out. And you know he can't, he not close to the bottle no more.
I'm
So
just
he
trying
got
to
to just
figure
deal with
out why do y'all have 4 hours in one day of issues?
it. That's the
I mean,
deepest question.
that's really what I want to know at the end of the day. Like, how do you have 4 hours of that much of issue, where it's very clear and very persistent, unless there's more that we don't see, and which there probably is. But I feel like a lot of that is Dorit. I feel like when it came to that home invasion, allegedly, when it came to, her, losing that $10,000 to go to Toys R Us. I just feel like
Let me
there's
tell you this. I find it interesting that the therapy session was shown after the robbery, allegedly. She needed therapy for the robbery and was willing to show that, right? But now you're getting separated. Allegedly, it's the only reason why you got a contract to be back.
right.
And you don't want to film that session because he could have just showed you and PK, not the kids. And then when you explain it, Dorit has a way of saying so much without saying anything at all. He got mad and stormed out of the session and said, I don't want to be married. Why did he say that? As James said, what happened in those 4 hours? What did you two discuss for 4 freaking hours? I want to know, Dorit. I do. Otherwise, stop crying about your woes if you're not going to show them. That's just how I feel. But, it is what it is. Moving on, y'all. Bose mentions that she is shocked about the interaction that happened between Dorit and Camille. I said, Bose, you must not have watched this show. You must not have watched this show before, because why are you surprised at that interaction? If you're surprised at anyone, it should be Dorit, because you don't call somebody to see you next Tuesday at their own event.
I feel like she's moving wrong as far as being strategic, because that's clearly what she's doing. But even still, I guess she's only listening, but she has like this allegiance to protect Dorit at all costs when it comes to certain people that Dorit has history with, bad history, not to mention, where she's just finding some way to vindicate her. And I don't like that. I just don't like it at all. First of all, Camille went easy on her versus any other time I've seen Camille go at somebody. So I don't know, Bose. Like you moving strange. Like I don't want to call you the lady from last season, but you moving just like she did.
I feel like Bose did not watch this show prior. I also feel
Even if
like
she didn't,
this
I was
all
just still
started.
moving away. I don't know. I was still moving away where I would hear her, but I would ask a better question of how did this, tension become of you and Camille? So I could start looking at patterns. Because if she looks at the patterns of Camille, and then later on we get to Sutton, she would actually have to retract her statements to see that this is not really just a one-sided thing where they're just attacking Dorit.
This why you don't go into new groups of people and
Mm-hmm.
tours wherever the hell and just take a side. If you wasn't
Yes.
there for it, then mind your black-owned business, Bose, please, because you don't
Mhm.
know what's going on. And then there's some instances where Dorita's right, and there's many where she is wrong. So I'm
Yes.
just kind of like, Bose is also bothered by Sutton saying that Dorit is mad at her life and taking it out on Sutton. That may have been low, what Sutton said. And yes, technically she did weaponize what Dorit is going through against her, but she also made a true statement, in my opinion.
It's not so much as yes, she made a true statement, but Bose, what I want you to understand is these women have history, and Dorit has weaponized that same instance against Sutton as well when Sutton was going through her situation. And when Sutton was actually getting into it with a lot of these women on here that were realistically gaslighting her the entire time. Dorit has done this too. So I
Yep.
feel like it's easy for you to come in the chapter you walked in on and judge Sutton for that. I think that that's way too easy.
Yeah. Shonique, welcome in. She said she was bothered by that as well. It was like, it wasn't nice of Sutton because you know what this lady's going through, but then at the same time, it's like
We have to consider
it
the
is
history. Like,
Dorit. If it was
yeah, we have to
anybody
consider
else,
the history. Like, I get like it wasn't the nicest thing to say to her in that moment because she is kicking her while she's down. But y'all have to understand this is history of these two going back and forth. It's not like this just started this season.
mm-hmm.
They have a history of being at each other's throats from the moment Sutton got on the show. So for me, I'm sorry, I don't see it the same way Bo sees it because she's only seeing it from the chapter she walked in on. She's not going back to the beginning. And that's what a lot of people do. They don't go back to the beginning and think maybe this is a bigger issue than Sutton just calling her out one night on a vengeance of her just being heated in that moment.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with that. I also agree with this. Like when I see Bose by herself, I'm okay with Bose. When I see Bose around Dorit, I cannot stand her. I don't know what it is. A bitch stay with it also stated, definitely a true statement. I want Bose to stay out of it because she don't know them. Right. Like in real life, if you don't know somebody and you see that people are having beef, mind your black owned business, Bazoma. Like, I don't understand why you're not. Don't laugh at me, James. I'm just saying. Why does she care so much? You just met this white lady. I'm
It's
saying
not,
it.
and it's not even that fact that why do you care so much? It's like, why are you not getting both sides of the story? Because you clearly feel a way about Sutton. Sutton is who brought you on the show, according to
Mm,
production. So why aren't you getting Sutton's point of view too? And ask her what made you say the weaponizing thing that you said, maybe so I can understand it better because I'm only seeing it as you just attacking this lady versus saying, okay, well, maybe there's a history with it that I'm not aware of.
yeah, it's just Bose need to mind her business, and that is a good point because Sutton did bring her to the group. But we also know producers just be picking people to bring to the group. She said, "I'm just not a fan of black people being forced into white spaces." That's actually a very, very good point. And that is exactly what's happening with casting for this show. It's nice to see people of different cultures and races come together. It's nice of them to show that Beverly Hills is actually, in some ways, very diverse if you go and actually go through the neighborhoods and stuff, but don't force it. And it's always concerning. And I do understand as a Black person, it can be difficult going into those spaces. I deal with that every day at work. But you got to find balance, if that makes sense. I can't just hang out with all the African American employees and not hang out with the rest. And there has to be balance. And I feel like Bose may be struggling with that. Shodique stated, if Sutton wants to do tit for tat with Dorit based upon their history, that's all well and good. But then simultaneously, Sutton needs to hush about this sisterhood BS.
I have a
Preach,
response to that.
preach.
I respond to that because yes, I agree with you, but at the same time, it's only mentioned or the ladies only feel that way about the sisterhood and it being a trigger when they throw it back in her face is because we know with Erica's situation specifically, Sutton wasn't coming at her as like, "Oh, I'm about to attack you because you have all of this going back." What she was doing is Erica was lying about or allegedly lying about what she knew and didn't know. And they were unclear of whether or not it would affect them because let's be honest, all of them went to attorneys and said, hey, could this come back on me because I am associated with her? But Sutton was the only one who got the heat for that. Let's not forget that. And also, where Erica jumped in is that I think Erica was mad because Sutton was like, hey, if you need some cushion, I can lend you $250,000. So that way, going through the divorce, you'll have some cushion. I got you, sis. That's what she was telling Erica. And I feel like she said that same thing to Dorit as well. I don't remember the context of the conversation, but I feel like she extended that to Dorit. And I feel like they felt a way about that because it looks like charity. Their prides got in the way. That's how I really feel about that sisterhood thing. I feel like she was doing it out of like saying, hey, I went through this. I don't want y'all to suffer if you guys need it. Because we all know Dorita's struggling. That's, public knowledge on the blogs, allegedly, that she's struggling. Houses in foreclosures. So Sutton's probably coming around saying, hey, I got you. Like Sutton gets $300,000 a month in spousal alone. That's nothing for her to give that woman as like a, not even just like some cushion, just so you can have it. So that's where I feel like the sisterhood kind of gets a little misconstrued because then they throw it back at her face. It's like, I don't need you. You're trying to come down on me or you're trying to judge me for my situation. When it's like, no, in reality, she's trying to say, I got you, but your pride is in the way because you're embarrassed by your situations. That's kind of how I feel about that.
Yeah, yeah, I could also see that. I also think Sutton. I'm sorry. I do agree with Shonique heavily with this client with this comment because you know don't talk about sisterhood when these women have treated you so badly. That's my thing.
Yeah,
That
but then
let it
also,
go. Just be here for a check, Sutton. Be about your money.
yeah, but I just feel like, well, I mean, she is a woman's, like, she is a girl's girl. She's a woman's woman. Like, she looks out for, even though she may have like a headbutt with them, but she still, I think she still genuinely cares. I do.
Yeah. And then bitch they went and stated exactly she's so one-sided. She does not know Dorit or Sutton, but she won't get to know Sutton. Right. And Sutton introduced her. So I'm just looking at it
And that's what
weirdly.
makes me upset with her. That's why I'm upset with her, because I feel like she is being one sided.
Yeah. Both should not be choosing a side, just being new regardless. You shouldn't do that. Come in, watch stuff, comment when needed or when they get on your nerves, but it's very one-sided. I feel bad for Dorit. She talks a lot, this and that. Wait till Dorit gets free of this divorce or gets back with PK, whichever one happens, and the money starts to become slightly okay again. It's gonna be a whole different person, and her accent gonna get stronger. You'll see. They will see. They will see. Shonique said, totally agree, but with Dorit, the only thing I can remember was the silly, I'm going to effing freak out comment, but I don't remember there ever being something serious that Dorit did to Sutton. And then she also stated, I think Dorit's situation and Erica's situation are much different. I will agree with that just because Dorit was one of the few people that did try to stick up for Sutton and call Erica out at the reunion and at that dinner. However, there have been other instances since Sutton came on the show where Dorit has done too much, but a lot of that really comes back to Kyle.
I was gonna say that. I was just about to say that. I
Because
said
Doris was
in
up
her defense of
Kyle's
Kyle,
anus. Yeah,
yes. When
Doris was
Sutton
up his anus.
Sutton and Kyle were into it, Dorit definitely chose Kyle's side blindly.
She did.
So yes, that's why I feel like, no, their situations are very different, but they're also very similar in the way that they both move.
Yeah. No, look,
It is.
vile
It's always
Kyle.
Kyle. Yes, it is.
Kyle is always the problem. Next week I should make my visual just Kyle with that rainbow butch cut that's going around the internet, the little AI. I can't stand Kyle. I cannot. She's the type of person, if I saw her, like if we were on the beach walking, I would purposely accidentally trip her just to watch her eat some sand. She get on my nerves. But it is what it is. Now, I'm not going over this scene, y'all, and don't be mad at me. Erica Erica Jane, but I like to call her Girardi to remind us of who she really is. She meets with a very, very well-known interior designer to the celebrities, the stars, the rich, the astute. She still owed them other designers, and one of them had to sit in jail, lost his kid. I don't care about you redesigning this house, Erica. I left my marriage with everything I had, all that I could fit. You telling me that you was able to fit that couch, that mattress, that bed frame, all them plants and stuff? Erica, this is the most. Stop it.
Stop it. I looked at her. I was like, girl, if you don't cut this out.
I don't care. I just want her to have some tea, and her voice scares me. It reminds me of Yzma from The Emperor's New Groove.
See, she better be careful for the feds come and get that furniture. You better be careful.
They gonna come get something.
They're gonna come, okay, you better be careful. Quit saying all this on camera like this. But I feel like, can she really afford this man? Is she playing with us? Or is she gonna take his ideas and then go and, to Big Lots like the rest of us and go ahead and get the, color scheme and stuff? I feel like I've seen that where we get designers, we pay them little consultation fees of $150, and then we go and take their ideas and then run to the, to IKEA and stuff and get that same stuff.
I mean, she might be able to afford them because the money that she gets now that she has filed for divorce, even though she's not actually divorced, has nothing to do with what he did. So she can buy what she wants with the money she makes. She just has to understand that she may be found liable for stuff, and if she don't give it back, they gonna garnish her wages. Hell, but I don't really care about this scene. That's really all I have to say about it.
I thought Erica lived in somebody's guest house.
Stop it.
I feel
No,
like that's what I was looking at.
no. She just, so it looks like that on camera, but the neighborhood she lives in, there's a bunch of like smaller houses. That's where all the renters of Beverly Hills is, if that makes sense.
It makes sense, but I'm just saying, It looked from, yeah, from the camera point of view, then production, y'all messed up for showing this lady house like this, because that looked like somebody guest house, and she looked like she lived in the back house.
That's how the houses be. Like California really it do be pretentious. Like even here in the Bay Area, it'd be small ass houses right next to each other. You can
That's,
hear
yeah, that's what I
everything.
said. That's why I was like, but I know that like those are rental unit properties. I get that, but that's why I'm saying it looked like somebody guest house though. There's only one.
Hmm. Hot mess, child, hot mess. Now we get to this event, the Venom Viper, and Kyle comes with Kesha. All I know is wake up in the morning feeling light. I ain't saying his name. I ain't got time for that. But that's all I remember is that TikTok song, and she alleged that people did horrible things to her in the industry. She's a young girl. I don't know why she's hanging out with Grandma Kyle. I don't understand it, but okay, Kyle. We don't care that you bring a new star celebrity. We just want to know when you're going to bring your resignation letter to Bravo.
Right.
We don't want you. Sutton and Jennifer Tilly are on the way to the Venom and Viper event, and Sutton is nervous because she was accused of weaponizing Doris's life. And Jennifer Tilly makes a good point, and I was glad that Jennifer Tilly said something because that's how James would have done me. Because if you
Mhm.
know your friends, you know your friends. I will say she was given prickly energy. She when talking about bows. Jennifer Tilly, thank you. Thank you for being the only person on this cast to state that Bose is doing a little bit too much.
Thank
Shonique, I'm sorry, I missed your comment. She said Kesha is friends with Paris Hilton. I think that's the connection with Kyle. That would make sense. That is her niece for those who do not know. And she's good with Kathy right now. Damn. Just saying. Bose, it has been giving prickly energy. I like Jennifer Tilly, but I want to see more from her. I feel like she doesn't know how to step into all of this mess. But based on how she speaks to people individually, if she could figure out how to speak up a little bit more in a less goofy way, I think she would be great for a full time
I
casting.
do too, because she has such like goofy energy, and I feel like because of how well substantial she is, like very little things bother her. So, but yeah, her assessment of Bose was spot on. I was like, yes, because I feel like we're trying to villainize Sutton right now. How production is making it seem, and how us viewers are looking at it, we're trying to villainize her, but realistically, all we have to do is pull apart the layers. I feel like Bose's assessment is slightly skewed because she's only looking at it from one point of view.
Hmm. Hmm. That makes sense. That
Yeah,
definitely makes sense. Now, they get to the event. The first thing Sutton does is address Bose. I was like, okay, Sutton, waste no time. This is part of what makes Sutton great. She not gonna dance around it. She gonna get right to the nitty gritty.
absolutely.
And basically, Sutton makes a good point to Bose. If you put the same energy that you are putting into getting to know and defending Dorit, into getting to know and being a friend to me, then maybe you would be able to, at the very least, see my perspective, even if you don't agree with it.
Which is
And
yeah.
I was like, very good, Sutton, because that's what we all was thinking. Now, at the same time, I do also agree with something Bose said about Sutton. She is calculated when she needs to be, but I think she has to be that way considering the money she has, who her husband is, all those things.
Yeah,
So I
exactly. And then look at the environment that she's in. She's putting her public persona on national TV. Of course, she has to be calculated. Like I feel like Bose, in some way, is calculated because look how she's moving. We only seen her one on one in deep conversation with one housewife since she's been on the show, and we're in episode
six.
6.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's
Bose is
calculated.
not giving everyone. I think she saw that Dorit is going through something, and the rest of the ladies are not that empathetic. And I feel like maybe Bose is also trying to be nice and not leave her out. But yes, that's basically what Sutton is saying because I mean that is true.
It's true. Yeah,
Match
it's like
energy. Get to know everybody the same way. I'm just saying. It looks
yes
like
and no.
Bose's calculations are working. She's reading
She's
into
reading the
Sutton
situation.
appropriately, but
Yes.
she doesn't know any of these women to even
Yes,
have to
he's
speak with
okay.
an
So
opinion.
Bose is moving the same way Anna Marie did last season when it came to the allegiance of Kyle. and how she was Kyle's mouthpiece and how she was really trying to come at other people on Kyle's behalf. Her beef was Sutton. So it was kind of like the same way we saw it like that. Bose is walking into them same shoes. So that's why I feel like I need her to move around this group a little bit more and kind of use that same knowledge and calculation she's doing to assess the situations to make sure she's right. Because I'm not saying she's wrong. I'm not saying what Sutton did was right either. But what I'm saying is the way she's moving, she's only looking at it from Dorit's point of view, based on words and knowing that there's a history that's bigger than where she's landed in. That's all I'm saying. Because
Yeah,
she,
yeah, she does have the house right now, though a lot of people are against how Sutton is moving. I think if we separate Bose from the show and just saw this same stuff without her, you don't need to bring up and kick this lady when she is down. You
yeah,
just don't.
right.
But at the same time, it's it's difficult because Sutton kind of does what who is a good example of when somebody goes low, they go straight to hell. Sutton kind of Dr. Heavenly it a little bit for Married
I
to
was gonna say
Medicine.
Candace did, but okay, Dr. Heavenly's a good one too.
Candace, Dr. Heavenly, they all do the same thing. If you come for them and you push them in the sand, they're gonna grab a knife and slice you across your face or something. Like they go to the lowest low to the lowest power, right? So I get that point, but I don't know. Sutton needs to figure out a balance, I think, in how she handles these ladies because they did mistreat her for most of her first couple
Yeah,
of
first and
seasons of
second
things.
season. Yep.
And she's
It sure
clearly
is.
not good. Sometimes she responds too late to things. I feel like Sutton needs to find balance with what she's doing. I definitely do. A bitch they would have said, I'm still not liking Garcelle.
And like I said, Garcelle,
Garcelle should not
I
be a
needed something
housewife no
different from
more.
Garcelle. I'm sorry, this wasn't it. I needed something different because we did the sun thing. We already did that. We did the whole. That's what I said. I don't. And then when she's around the group, all we're getting is little outbursts. Oh damn! Like I need more. Like, ma'am, I need more than this. I
This is
need
a
the
word,
Marcel
though.
that got Erica together.
Celebrate your son's sobriety without constantly bringing up the past. That's all I'm
Mhm.
saying. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, I think Bose definitely needs to move around the group. I think everyone can agree to that. Separate from Sutton, she's not interacting too much with Garcelle. She's not interacting with Kyle like that. We ain't seen her meet with Erica. She's only been around Dorit. And when Dorit switches up, when all of this is cleared
Oh yeah,
up, you don't
because
see.
it's coming. Best believe, Bose. You think you safe with Dorit, but let me tell you something. All you got to do is say one little observation that you see that she does, and she gonna switch on you so quick, girl. You ain't gonna see it coming. I'm telling you, that
Because
lady
I
is a
believe
snake.
Dorit is on this show because PK was friends with LVP and he probably wanted something for his annoying wife that always talked to do. And I feel like that's that Dorit, the way she turned on LVP. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. She'll turn on anybody. But Erica
Mhm.
dropped a new song called Dominoes. It sounded like the other songs that she has. And I was cracking up a little bit because they showed the confessionals of the women
Oh,
commenting
Jennifer
on the
Tilly
song.
cracked me up. I was done.
Nobody was impressed with the song.
Jennifer Tilly, it was Jennifer Tilly for me. I saw her. She said, "I don't see it being a hit, but it's good."
I agree with this, Shonique. She said, but the thing with Bose is she'll be prepared to handle it. She's a boss for real. I would assert that she can handle any of these women. That is a
Mm,
word. I personally feel like Bose is a great addition as a housewife, especially as a Black housewife. And I think her background in corporate America for these huge companies, but not just as a woman, but a woman of color, I do feel like that has prepared her to deal with every single person on this cast and maybe some Bravo.
I think we need to break down what we define as handle. Because I can't, because I want to agree with this, Shanique. I do, but I don't know yet. I think we need to wait and see first. Because how she's handling this now, when conflict does come her way, I feel like I don't know. I feel different about her energy than that. I do. I don't feel like she's going to handle it in her corporate America. I don't think it's going to happen like that at all.
I'm gonna just keep it a buck. I do feel like she'll do that, but with Sutton specifically, Sutton does not do well when put on the spot or in altercations of any
Mhm.
sort, it seems. So I just feel like, with I have to see Bose. I agree with you also, James. I have to see her interact with the rest of the ladies to fully know that
Mhm.
she can handle it. But based on her career and what she does, I do feel like she can handle the women. Naya popping up off, but that's all I know is dominoes. Her life fell like dominoes. It's like Erica in the song Dama. No, she can't sing. What's the other song? It's expensive to be
I
mad.
don't know none of them songs. I wouldn't even when I tell you I don't pay attention to that lady because I feel like that's the, saving grace of the lily white ladies that I've ever seen. They can have no
It's very
talent,
true.
get up there and, make millions of dollars when the average black woman who does have talent can't even make 50 cents because y'all want to
Mhm.
give her a hard time. Yeah. I don't really
Yeah.
care.
Oh, the music career that was started by the money that Tom stole from his victims. But
Yeah.
moving on, y'all. Moving on, you guys. It's just the best. So they move on to the whole issue after the performance. Doris asked Kyle if she's spoken to PK about their relationship status. And Kyle replies to Dorit saying that the friendship between Kyle and PK consists of memes and jokes, and says that she mostly just receives memes from him. But it's interesting because if we remember to previous episodes of this season, Kyle admitted, when not with Doris and confessionals and with other people, that she has a friendship with PK and that he's been there for her and that they text. Now she says it's just memes. So I'm like, Kyle, which one is it? Now, Doris is not okay with Kyle talking to PK. She finally makes that clear, and I was glad that she did. But she shouldn't have had to, because I feel like girl code, regardless if I'm cool with you or not, if we was once friends, I'm not going to do that to you. That should be common sense. And Kyle tries to be good at first. She says to Dorit, I'm a girl's girl. And if it came down to it and I was asked to choose, Kyle says she would choose Dorit over PK, even though she's text PK and sends memes, but does nothing with Dorit. Now, I was happy that Doris and some of the ladies backed her up. I backed up Dorit and was like, listen, if the tables were turned, Kyle, as quiet as it's kept, you'd be pissed off if these ladies was talking to Mauricio. Hell, you didn't want to talk about Mauricio last season. Now suddenly you got something to say after he talked about it on his show, and the fans don't like you and turned on you. Now suddenly you trying to do what you can to get liked again. So I was just annoyed. I'm gonna say this. Kyle lacks accountability. She's full of it. There's no way you could think that things are good with Dorit and PK while they're separated and going through a divorce. Like, why would you think things are good? So that's how I
But
felt about
just
it.
say women's comment, I believe she was lying as well,
Yeah,
allegedly. I believe
yeah.
she was lying as well. I think there was definitely more to them conversations than what she let out to be, other than some memes and some quotes or whatever the hell she said. It was definitely more than that. And you could tell she was trying to catch herself because she looked like she wanted to say exactly what it was, but she realized that she would be stabbing herself in her toe if she did so.
Mm-hmm. The
So
little
that's
one.
why I was like, okay, so you're not trying to incriminate yourself, but obviously you could see from her facial expressions there was more.
Kyle knows that she's wrong. Regardless, don't be talking. Don't do that to people. Don't do that to people. That's so strange. And people really will be petty, men and women. But don't fall into that. Stay the hell away from other people's breakups. Because why would you want to deal with it? Friends or not, don't come to me complaining about this chick. Don't try to be my friend now that you're done with her. Let people go through what they go through and keep that drama and that energy away from you. So Kyle is off. And Dorit explains that things are not good with her and PK, which we know. She also mentions in front of the whole group that they're keeping this from the kids and it's making it harder. And this is where Sutton interrupted and was like, well, you can't shield the kids forever. Dorit got mad. She was butthurt in that situation. And my thing is, if you don't want a public opinion, leave the show. If you don't want Sutton to comment, then don't talk about your kids in front of her, right? Because these ladies keep complaining about stuff that Sutton does, knowing that Sutton's going to do things in the way that she does it. I'm not saying that Sutton was right, because me personally, I ain't gonna speak on nobody's parenting or their kids. That's like, to me, that's pillow talk for me and my husband. I'll be like, babe, this chick, I don't know what the hell she did with that baby, but that's not something you bring up publicly. But I think Sutton also was trying to make the point, like, you're not going to be able to shield these kids forever. Like, eventually you got to tell them. So why add more
Or
to your
understand that
plate?
they can Google. Y'all are public
Right,
figures. Like, to me, they should be saying something. Like, I get we can't tell people what to do with their kids, and they are
right.
stair-steppy kids. I get it. Like, I get their babies, but at the same time, you can't just keep them in the dark and not think that this is not going to come out. Because in today's time, I'm sure that they can Google you with their iPads and look at this episode of you talking about their daddy like this.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. I also agree with this. I'm not gonna lie though. I'm gonna just say it and call a spade, and y'all can hate me if you want. I feel like in the Black community, we understand a little better sometimes than Dorit and Kyle's and Sutton's community. That when it comes to other people's kids, unless they really being abused, they're mistreated and all of that, mind your business. While I think it's stupid to not tell them, maybe she feels it's not the time. They are technically separated. Maybe she doesn't want to worry them until they know that they're actually going to get a divorce. So I can understand why that would bother Dorit, to hear Sutton say that. And Sutton, if you know you and this lady not cool, then maybe don't bring up her
I just
kid.
feel like she shouldn't press the issue. I feel like you should just sit back and just let her fall on her face. I get
Yeah,
you want to be there
yeah.
because to me, it sounded more so out of concern and like trying to avoid because she has older kids. And she even said it herself. Her youngest son was the same age as Dorit's son when her and her husband divorced. And maybe through some experiences that she had, that she probably just wants to connect with her in that way and say, hey, maybe that's not the best idea to keep this from them because it may build resentment when they get older. I don't know because Sutton is not really being clear and she's coming off heinous, it's kind of hard for me to really advocate for her because it's like, girl, you overstepping boundaries here. I can't
I think
defend you.
regardless with Sutton, she didn't want nobody to talk about her kids. She barely mentioned the son at all for a little while. It took seasons before we even met the daughter. So I think I'm not even a parent, but I feel like if I was a parent, you got to understand that when it comes to kids, you're much more sensitive, one, and don't do what you wouldn't want other people doing to you. That's just how I feel. So Sutton was wrong for that, in my opinion. I still love Sutton, but she was definitely wrong for
I agree.
that. She does try to clarify that she was, trying to make it like, if you need support, let me know, things of that nature, because Dorit did not like pretty much Sutton's comments. And Sutton asked Dorit, what has Sutton done to Dorit? And Dorit cannot answer the question because Sutton has not done anything to Dorit prior to
Right.
this.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people, you know, don't pay attention to that little scene. I know Sutton did too much this episode. That's just a fact. But she asked Dorit, "What did I do to you?" And Dorit didn't have an answer.
She did.
So I'm
Because
kind of
it's
like,
like, yeah, it's counteractive. You can't really say she did something to you because really she didn't. But that throw your situation back in your face. You could have used that, but at the same time, she would have ammo back for you because you would have proved her point. So that's why she being
mhm,
strategic. Like Doreen know what she doing. She do.
she does. Uh, Overstepping is the main thing. Sutton's just too pushy and often can't read a room. That's the truest statement,
Yeah.
because that's part of why
But,
people
but
like
here's the
Sutton. It's
thing.
also part of why they don't like her, because she can't read the room and she often does things that to me just come off as awkward.
It's awkward, but it has to push the envelope forward because without her, what will we have?
Mm,
That's why she's my
nothing.
favorite housewife. Because
Yeah,
if she did not push these ladies to the element that she does, we would not have a show. Because they would keep everything surface and pick one person out to be the scapegoat of the entire season. Sutton
that's a
got the energy
word.
for everybody. Everybody can get it, even Garcelle, if Garcelle pushed her. So
That's
yeah.
true. That is true. That is true, because prior to Sutton being on this show, we had what, Lisa Renna, but Lisa Renna, she
Oh no,
started to
Sutton
get to
did
a point
Lisa
where
Rinna
it got to
up
like
last season. Like if Sutton got Lisa
her.
Rinna so good, I was like, there you go, Sutton.
Yeah,
There,
yeah,
and that's what made her become my favorite. Like it was that, and it was her versus Erica for me because she made Erica look stupid on TV, and
she
I was
did.
here for
She
every minute
did.
of it. Yep.
She did. She did. But Sutton just needs to learn how to read the room better, and I think she do well. But what ends up happening is she clarifies that she's going to support her and that she's there if she needs her to be, but that don't mean she got to call her every day, because obviously Doris feels away. And Sutton also makes it clear she doesn't expect to be the first person that Doris calls if she needs something. And, basically she tries to meet Dorit somewhere, and Dorit is still just like, nothing will solve the problem. She just seemed to want to stay mad, which I get. But I was here for it when Sutton said to her, listen, we ain't got to be friends. I said, there you go, Sutton. I wish you would have got there sooner, but you don't have to be friends, because that's the only way to shut Dorit up. We don't have to be friends. I don't care. How about that? And then she told Dorit, talk to your real friend, and step back and said, talk to Kyle. I said, oh,
I said,
oh
damn,
Lord.
son. I said, son didn't come to play with y'all at all.
She said, Rinna, yeah, when Sutton was like, Lisa Rinna's rule book, do as Lisa says, the end. It's a very short book.
That scene was so comical. When I tell you, it was that scene, and then it was when Garcelle followed up with the Diana chick, because Lisa was like, Garcelle, do you hear what she's saying? And Garcelle, well, what do you hear? That's what I loved them too as a duo, because I was like, thank you. Even Kathy had to laugh at that. Because it was
Right.
like, stupid. Like, come on.
A mess. I love Sutton and Garcelle as a duo, and I would rather see that than Garcelle full time. I'm sorry, Garcelle. I still love you. I still love you, Fancy. But so we did see Kyle and Doris talk. They looked at Sutton like, oh, she's really gonna, and they listened, and Kyle and Doris get to talking. And this is where Dorit says, I gotta stop calling her Doris, because she has been doing a little better, and I keep calling her Doris, and I'm so sorry, but that's just what I do. Dorit lets Kyle know that she is wrong, and Kyle says that if it bothers her so much, I won't talk to PK at all. And then Kyle shows in the confessional, or says in the confessional, that PK has been a better friend to her than Dorit has. If that's the case, then why are you going to stop talking to him, Kyle? All because you want to care about how things looks and how you're perceived, but you're saying he's been a better friend to you than Dorit, which I highly doubt. Because he was in an addiction, got all these issues, and is always traveling. But Kyle gets annoyed with Dorit, and she says that Dorit is bitter, but then aggressively apologizes to her. And it was passive aggressive. It was also, you could tell it was fake. It was kind of rude. I do get that, but I also feel like, Kyle, you have no reason to be frustrated. You talking to this woman's husband, and you the only person in the group right now who's separated and potentially going to go through a divorce. Of anybody else in this group, you should really understand what's good. Eric is only leaving his man because he went broke and lost his bar license. Okay, let's keep that very clear. But Kyle and Dorit are the only two who kind of have something in common. Their husband was friends and all of this. So you would think that Kyle would be able to be empathetic to the situation, and she's not. Kyle had no reason to be upset or annoyed. She just don't like being held accountable, which Kathy Hilton has said Kyle struggles with. So I'm like, oh Lord, the episode ends with Dorit losing her whole mind and all her marbles on Kyle. Um, I agree with Sutton, y'all. The way Dorit behaved at the end of this, if you knew that these two were talking and you had a problem with it, you should have been said something, but you didn't. You want to tell people some of what's going on in your marriage, but then you expect them to feel so sorry for you. I can't understand fully where Dorit is coming from, but I also cannot understand where Kyle is coming from. In my opinion, take it for what it is. If someone shows you they are not your friend, they are not your friend. Keep it moving. You cannot change people. You just can't. But on Kyle's end, it's like, just go away. Just leave the show. That's how I feel. How did you feel about the end of the show?
I want to see the aftermath, and then I'll reserve my opinion from there. I
That's
feel
fair.
like Dorit, it's misplaced energy. That's how I feel.
You have to agree with what Sutton said. It does look like you are mad at your life and taking it out on everybody, because I get her being mad, but to snap like that and to lose your mind, I'm like, okay, what's going on? Because it's very hard for me to have sympathy or empathy without knowing like the full backstory. The bitch stay winning commented, I love how she went off on Kyle, even though I think it was performative and over the top due to her possibly being booted off the show. That's what the word on the curb was. Dorit was not supposed to come back and was the last person to receive a contract, and allegedly was told that if she comes back to the show, she has to speak about her marriage. So I do think a piece of it is performative, but we also are here for seeing Kyle have somebody get at her. I'm just saying. Because Kyle put her hands on Sutton and all these crazy things and then tried to play coy. So I hope that glass we heard break at least got her big toe. She said the sneak peek is already up on YouTube. The way the scene ended was pretty cool. I will go watch.
Yeah,
I
me
will go
too.
watch.
Me too. I'm curious.
I am curious too. I want to know because why wait? Why wait, right? But that's all that happened, y'all. We're gonna head over to James's channel. We are a smidge late, apologies, but I appreciate everybody's engagement and participation. We are gonna go over to Housewives of Salt Lake City, another crazy episode. Salt Lake City, Beverly Hills, and in my opinion, Married to Medicine and the last season of Housewives of Miami, they're giving right now.
Yes.
Everybody else do better, especially Potomac. But we'll see you guys on James's channel. The link is in the description of this video. We do hope that you like the video. Subscribe to both channels, and I will see y'all again next week. Adios.